The Out There channel.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, greys and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Okay, yo, I'm just answering on the side chat there, as you can see. So yeah, we're actually on time this time. Is the audio sounding okay out there? Let me just check. 1, 2, 3. Sounds alright here. Whether Google mucks it up, I don't know. So yeah, we're just carrying on from where we finished off last time. Part 2. And add on a wee bit more if we need to. It's never ending. Been busy, but I caught up on shows. Yeah, at least you can watch it after I've done the chapters, I guess. And JD and Shogun's here. How's that coming out? You got some pair of eyes there. Alright, it comes out alright. On the big highlighter. I'm out here. We're down at the bottom of the world, me and JD. He's in Christchurch. Not too far away from me, I believe. Unless he's moved house again. Hate moving house. Because you always got all the stuff that you have to repack up, and then you end up with stuff that you don't want. You're holding on to maybe because you might use it for repair and electronics, or I do, and you think, oh, should I throw it out finally, or do I keep it in case I need the screws out of it, or whatever. You end up being a bit of a hoarder. And then you throw it out, and then something breaks 3 months later, and you find, oh damn, I wish I had those tiny little screws out of that thing I threw away. Well, that's the way it goes if you're into modern and fixing things. I suppose I'm a rare kind. So yeah, I better post up my website on the side. Welcome any podcast listeners on Spotify, Apple. I see I've picked up 6 followers on Spotify, which is kind of interesting. So there's at least 2 of you here out of 8 billion people that are actually really interested in the real UFO stuff. Instead of all the sensational stuff all the time. Let's see, did that work all right? Yep. Every time I use the other window to post that, it goes wrong. Oh, we got 4 on. I just finished dinner actually. But yeah, got a bit of a headache. I think it's because of my eyes. Using the eyes a lot, and when they're both blurry, it's sort of, I don't know, which overworks your brain. And of course, sitting here for too much, of course. I was sitting in the sun most of the morning today. Hey, we got some sun. It was a nice 10 degrees Celsius outside. But in the sun inside the house, it's like a sunroom. It feels good. I think I needed some vitamin D because I don't get out very much like I used to. I don't want to drive to the dog park because of my eyes the way they are. Because I almost had an accident coming back from the doctors about 8 months ago. I didn't even see the car. Maybe he was travelling fast, maybe the sun was reflecting off it. But accidents can quite easily happen when you're driving. What else have I forgotten? I feel like I've forgotten something. But it's good to have a few people here. So we're looking at NASA stuff. And I haven't got it organised at all here. Whereabouts did I leave it up, or did I close it down? Right, yeah, GUFON. Was there one after that? Yeah, so we're talking about the claims of NASA faking it in studio. There was a reflection in one of the videos which they claimed to be a studio light. But you can see here, even in that picture there, the reflections of all the different stuff they had in front of them, right? You can see here's little posts with little things on the very top. If you're up close to that, and because of the curvature of the lens of this cover on the space helmet, that's going to look like a stage light, right? You got also various antennas and things that stick off the side here. So yeah, let's have a look. Stage light main landings. Let's see if I can find the image. There was another one that sort of come up, proving it was on the stage. Main landings faked. Let's see if I can find it. So there might be a few typos and me misreading things as we go, but we'll see how we go. Stage lamp, main landings faked. Let's see if we can find the image that they keep referring to. I don't have it handy. Can't see the one in question. Is it on that one? You can see there's a lot of activity reflecting off the thing there. The visor, or whatever it's called. Oh, here's a better picture of it. So what do we got in that one? So we obviously got a shadow there. But what's that shadow of? Is it a man? It can't be a man standing there. Looks like a tripod with a camera on it, doesn't it? And there's another man further back of him. You can see even the lander, how much distorted it is, right? So whatever you see in the visor is going to be distorted, a bit like the fisheye camera lens. So it's like these people that watch these conspiracies and the moon landing fake, they don't seem to have common sense or even basic science knowledge. And you can see here we're talking about the antenna. You can see clearly all their backpacks have little antenna. That's what they use for their CB communication, I guess. Close thing. Close, what do you call it? Communications. They only go a certain mileage, probably. Now, a lot of that was from Street Cat 1, which is, he's dead now. So that noise is sort of diminished out of the ufology, thank God. But more people have stepped in his place, unfortunately. Yeah, well, I thought I might get the lamp, stage lamp one. But it just shows Google is probably suppressing it. Stage lamp. Gonna hit the wrong key. No, I'm still not getting it. Yeah. Let's try main landings. No. I think it was in that video, actually. Now I think about it. But yeah, you think you better find the static image they took it from. But again, it looks to me like stuff they have on the moon landings gear. Let's see if we can get some better pictures of it. Okay, so there's the lander. And you can see it's got a lot of antennas and things sticking out. There's the flag. And there's the lunar reconnaissance photograph that we talked about last time. The Japanese had another one of the landing site that proves there's tracks on the moon where the moon rover goes, and you can actually map that to the videos they took. So it proves they did land. What's that thing they got here? I think we had... I know they did some... set up various experiments and reflectors. So when they left, they could aim a laser at the moon and bounce it off a mirror they left. I'm not sure what that is. Looks like some sort of solar ray on it there with antenna. What's this one? Okay, they're showing another lunar reconnaissance image here of the debris left behind. Okay, so they're claiming that these stage lamps with the things coming out. Is that the mirror? Is that the one with the reflection though? No, it's not, is it? So they haven't got even the right one where they're claiming there's a reflection of one of these type of lamps. Not even that one. Where's the mean buggy? I haven't seen the mean buggy yet. What's that thing there? Oh, it's the mean buggy. Alright, so they got also... other stuff that... There's the mean buggy. I think that's a futuristic one there. They had various other things they put up. Yeah, that white thing there. What was that for again? Can't remember, but we did talk about it a couple of months ago. Some experiment anyway. Okay, let's just see what other pictures we can find of antennas. I know there's a few on the buggy thing here. I thought there would be a lot more. But I suppose they don't take a picture of what's behind them, right? A lot of it's selfies. Has that one got the stage light? No, that one hasn't got it. If they use stage lighting, how come there's only one image where you see stage lighting as well? You know, it's kind of stupid. It'd be in lots of images, right, where it gets caught out, especially in video. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much more on that unless we... I wanted the list of all their gear, you know, experiments maybe, or antennas, tripods, maybe they had tripods, tripod. I got one here, what's that, Apollo 13, so there's some gadget there. And more landing fake stuff, right? Claiming how they faked it with stage lighting. Oh, here's one. So there you go. What the hell is that thing? Alright. Now if that was reflected off a helmet, it would look like stage lighting. Especially if it's bent in the image, right? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Who filmed the lunar module? I suppose it's a camera, is it? Kind of looks like a camera. And you can see they've got power cords going straight to the lunar module there. Look. So it runs around. So they had even cables on the moon. Not cables to lift them up, but cables actually for communications and power. Yeah, what's that thing there? There's a tripod. It's got a colour thing on the side. So that looks like something they'd used for measuring distance and height, right? And here's another one here. Celebrates Apollo 11. Yeah, so they had a few tripods, but that one's a bit too short, unlike the other one. Anyway, it's interesting having a look through that. Couldn't find the one we're after, but I was just, is it here? I think it might be in here. So let's just have a wee skim of this one again. Where they're claiming there's wires above them. Oh, I hate that double click thing. Now, they cherry pick various videos here where they claim it's been slowed down from regular walking, but if you have a look at the hands, when he's bouncing around here, you can see the hands are moving at normal speed. So you see, they cut it before you see him move his normal hand speed. You see? Yeah, just bouncing around, getting used to the gravity, 1/6 of the Earth. You can see how these documentary makers get away with a lot of stuff, just fabricating. See, to me, this one here, just like I said before, debunks them in suits on suspension, because it's more than just one cable. Well, they're claiming it's up there on one cable straight up the middle where the antenna is, which is nonsense. And you're talking about if it was filmed on Earth, you're talking about a lot of weight here. Weight of a large adult on a thin wire, and it would you wouldn't have any control over it, would you? It would be like swinging like a pendulum. Just common sense stuff, really. See, this is the thick wires to give them sense of being on the moon in the suits and how they can get used to moving. And of course, even on the moon, they can fall over, even in 1/6 the gravity. And they got those bulky suits that don't bend very well. Of course, they're going to need hand getting up. Yeah, he still drops something. So I don't know who this turkey is, but people like that set back UFO research and all sorts of things because of this nonsense. So they're saying that's sped up there, right? But that's taking a wee small chunk where they don't move their hands much, right? Because their hands are the most free moving part of the suit. Doesn't matter how you speed that up, it's just going to look normal no matter what you do. But yeah, let's see them do it on other footage. Like if you speed up the buggy, the buggy and the movement, you'll see it looks very strange. Just trying to find the helmet. I think it's in this. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was in this. I think we went through all that. Did I miss it? Although I don't really like YouTube player. It's not really accurate for scrolling through the images. So I looked at it really quickly, this one, and the light, if that was a straight line above the thing, the light was actually on the side rather than smack in the middle where you expect the reflection point to be. So it debunks it just by quick analysis, Yeah, I still didn't see the helmet thing. It must have been on GUFONs. So it wasn't on that one. I don't know what the documentary's called. It's on Joe Rogan. A clip from what though? We didn't land on the moon, or some sort of UK documentary, is it? There was another thing that GUFON played where he's looking at more of conspiracies, and he hasn't added any of the links by the looks of it. Anywhere you can send in lots of money. Links to videos played. Okay, he's got one here, moon landing. I forgot to YouTube change the format so it gets rid of the HTTP in front, which is, and puts a stupid logo now. So it's very hard, you know, it should be like this, so it stands out better than that does. Okay, so it was on this one here. So let's see if we can find the bit I'm after. The greatest lie ever told, which is nonsense. So I guess he's 2.45 million subscribers, 2 million views, and look at all the thumbs up. Now I'm not sure if this guy is meant to be debunking the claims, or some of them, but he goes through it. Let's see. Let's see what he's got here. Looks like it's better quality than some of the stuff we're looking at. Where's the helmet? It's quite a long video, this one. So they're talking about that Shining movie, right? All the hidden clues, but that's meant to be like the shape like the lunar lander, the carpet, or something nonsense like that. And the room number is meant to be the time that they launched or something. I don't know. This guy goes through it all. Is that the reflection? No. It has to be in here somewhere, I think. It's just annoying I can't find it. I don't really want to play it because you know what these big channels do. They always put a claim on you. Take ownership of your thing. Probably could search. Let's see. Search. Where is it on this? There. Transcript. Okay, so we should be able to search that. We type in stage. How many references to that? Let's see. Let me go back out. Okay, we got one there. What's it say? Soundstage studio lamps would also explain the shot in a vacuum with only a single light. So I'm not sure what he's blabbing on about there. So it's not the one we're after. Next one we got here. Stage speaking. What's this one? I suppose we've got to go on a bit. Talking about the background being the same, but if you compare all the frames, it's actually the same background, but because the person taking the photograph on the moon has slightly moved along a bit and taken another photograph, it looks like it's the same background, because it is. Okay, let's see. Next one. Because, you know, cameras can give you the false perspective of how big it really is. Alright, they could be a fair distance away from that. We get it with fisheye cameras especially. And of course your mirrors on your car, you know how things can look closer than they really are. So yeah. I thought it went to the next one. What's the next one here? Well, maybe stage wasn't a good word. I don't know. Next one. Nope. 5. We see stage suddenly pop up without any exhaust thing. So that didn't work. Lamp, maybe? No. Light. Well, there's a lot of references to that one. Light. Lighten, maybe? Stage lighten. You got one reference to that one. Seems to be a Hollywood lighting technique. So they're talking about how it's illuminated, but we know that the lunar surface is like really reflective, glassy type material, silicon, and any light that falls on it is like a mirror, and it can send the light rays even under the lunar module here, or some light rays anyway. But yeah, he goes through that in documentary, but I'm just trying to find the helmet. Let's try the helmet one here. Where is it? What's it say here? Now look in the reflection. Oh, right, that sounds like it. Alright, so here we go. Is this the one? Almost. Let's see. They're talking about these dots of light here being stage lighten. To me, it kind of looks like you got to remember the sun is bending on a helmet surface here, like a fisheye. It's this lens, really, isn't it? Rather than a reflection. Okay, maybe the next one's coming up. What's this? So they got the cameras on their chests, right? They mount it on their chests, so they got their hands free. Oh, that so looks like lens flare to me. But anyway, there's the next one there. Alright, here we go. Is that the one? Here we go. Here we go. Stage lighten. They reckon that's the stage light. Alright. Now, we saw this tripod they had that looked like it had something like that on the top, right? So that's why I was trying to look at those other pictures to see if we can pin it. Now the question would be, why can't we see the stem? So we've got to remember this image is distorted. So it's not going to look like the stage lamp. It's going to be bent and twisted. And people don't realize that when they look at images like this, that it's actually been distorted. So whatever this is, can be a bit tricky to work out. Is it something that's sort of looks like a booster engine thing off, you know, like one of those boosters as well that comes off the side of the capsule? So you'd have to actually find the video sequence that this is taken from, because they've cherry picked a frame, right? Or a photograph. We need a list of photograph names. And obviously, this documentary doesn't provide it. At least I don't see it. It does seem to be something here though, doesn't it? Let's have a look. What's this here? This white litmus. And something hanging down from the module. Let's have a look at the module again. I just wanted to wrap up on this very quickly though. Lunar module color. Let's have a quick look at some images again. We know they've got lots of this stuff sticking out the side, right? Can we get a good big picture of that one? You see these things here that are sticking out, these little burner engines here, look. Looks exactly like what we're seeing reflected. But I just think it might be something on a tripod, but something dangling down in front of him. It's quite big, really. I wonder if it was on the actual rover. They got camera and they got an antenna. But then why can't we see the antenna? So they got these bits that stick out the side. Was he up the ladder when he took the picture? So it's all taken out of context. That's the problem. Where's it disappear to? Here. It's very faint too. Looks like there might be something going up here. Just above it there. They must have had lights as well on the wing, you know, for the camera work. Did they actually have portable light stands? That would make sense too. Carlo light stands. Stands. Nope, not those ones. Camera stands. No, it's not coming up. Moon. Okay, what we got here? These are the cameras. Oh, right. Ah, right. See, it kind of looks like it's got a triangle bit out the front here. And a big cable coming off it. So, could it be a camera? You see, it's got that triangle bit sticking out the front. I wonder if he's actually carrying it. Could he actually be carrying the camera on the stand? And that's, he's got it in his hand over here, and we got the thing coming up here with the camera hanging off it. So no, that's a possibility, right? If you know what I mean. So he might be carrying a camera with him to where they're going, and that's just dangled. And you're just seeing just the angle of it, like that one there. So if you had it in your hand and you're carrying it, and you're just getting a reflection of that. Which way is it pointing though? Yeah, you sort of have to wrap it around in your head, don't you, to figure it out. But yeah, it could simply be something like that, right? They're just carrying it around. It's just a reflection in his visor. Nothing to do with stage lighting whatsoever. But I would have thought they might have had some light illumination. But maybe that's why they did most of it in the sun, maybe. Oh, here we go. What's this thing? Ah, right. They went to the Surveyor 3 site. Remember the one with the robot arm? Which I said was probably what Sakaro UFO incident was, them testing it out with the 3 tripod legs and the robotic arm. And the solar array up the top there. And I think it's got also a transmitter to send it back. That's another possibility there, right? He could have been in the rover following him behind. Look at all the stuff hanging off that. But anyway, should always question everything, right, that you're being shown, and do your own investigation into it. So I reckon he's just carrying something in his hand, and it's this reflection of what he's carrying, and they're saying it's stage light there. But I'll post a link to that thing there if you want to go and watch it. He does actually debunk some of it, I think, but not all of it. Moon landings doco debunked, I guess. So he goes through, talks about all the conspiracies, and I think he debunks some of it. But obviously, I don't think he debunks the wires. From what I see. Anyway, I'm not sure. I've heard of this guy before. The Wi-Fi files. Well, whatever he does, people seem to like him. Obviously, to get that many subs, right? So you got to be down the conspiracy line of things to get that many subs. Because if he was telling the truth all the time, you wouldn't get that many subs. When did he start? What does it say here? Yeah, you don't get that many followers by being completely honest. We know that for a fact. You don't get that many views. 336 million views. I started in 2016, and you can see telling the truth does not get you anywhere. So I suppose if we go over all his videos there, we'll find quite a few shill ones that got the subs going. What we got? Land of the Giants. Alright, the Dark Side. The Virginia Alien. Okay, how many views on that one? 1.8 million views. Unbelievable. So he's only been around for two and a bit years, and he's got all that. I just don't understand it myself. Proof of reincarnation, alien reproduced vehicles, alien war at Duce, Phil Snyder rubbish. I hope he debunks it. I hope he debunks the 4 years and all that, telling the truth about his mental hospital visits, and cutting off his own fingers. Oh no. John Laird, Doty, the truth. Have we got the truth? I'd like to play a bit of it, but I'm just too scared. Yeah, I'm not seeing any FOIA documents showing on the screen here. These guys can watch it and tell me if he actually proves that Phil Schneider was a mental idiot. I can't see any there might be something there. What's that? I still get people looking at my Phil Snyder debunk and calling me all sorts of names, though. It's kind of hilarious. And you got idiots like GUFON promoting the Phil Snyder as real. Is that a FOIA? Is that a FOIA one I just saw there? How come it didn't come up? Is that the one? Funeral. I don't know what that is. Talking about welfare check on the man. Talking about how he was found, by looks of it. How many views did he get on this? I bet he gets lots. Almost 3 million views. Ridiculous. And no downvotes. It's not as good as my debunk on it. Anyway. Yeah. What we got? Black Knight. Oh no, I bet he doesn't debunk it, does he? Let's have a look. There we go, the space blanket. Can we even play a clip of him?
Question: why is it here? Well, what?
It don't sound like he's got a horrible voice. Another one of these squeaky voices. He's gone to bull removal school. This is what Dad says. Someone's got him by the short and curlies, is what Dad says. These guys that talk like that. Only men would understand that, though. You know, if someone squeezes your short and curlies, you know about it. Oh yeah, does he talk about space blanket?
Alright, let's assume that the earliest evidence, the radio signals, and the latest evidence, the photos, are debunked. Let's just
But I didn't see him show the video of it drifting away from the space shuttle like I did, but it might be there. So what's so special about this guy over what I do? You know, I did documentaries, little 5-minute clips where I debunk it, you know. But anyway, we'll leave it there. I'll move on. Maybe I need a squeaky American voice. Maybe that's the thing. Anyway, we'll move on to the next bit. So, yeah, the moon landings did happen. We got, as you saw when I was looking through the photos of the landing site, we got pretty clear photo evidence of the landing site. Definitely happened. There's no way it was staged. Although I said there could be a small possibility that it did actually make a little fake stage clip in case the astronauts got killed and they wanted to keep the broadcast going so the Russians think that they landed even if it went wrong. There's a small possibility that happened, but there's no solid evidence about it come out since. No one said, oh, here's the footage we made in case it all went wrong. No, it's always, oh, we made the footage just to fake it all. Nah, it's not possible. Because that means who's been on the moon putting all that landing site together in that case and making the tracks in the same places that they visited in the video footage. That's just nonsense. Alright, so we're done with the moon stuff. And this one here also talked about some stuff that we didn't have time to work over. Moon rocks were fabricated in a lab. Space Odyssey Stanley Kubrick. Sorry Dave, I can't do all that. Right, the C segment engraved on it. What was that one? Yeah, I remember seeing that one. Indicating it as a set prop. Moon photos are all too perfect. Failed claims. Okay, here we go. Moon rocks contain minerals and isotopes that can only be found in rocks that are subject to millions of years of exposure to cosmic and solar radiation. These isotopes are not possible to simulate in an Earth environment and still be able to have the correct exposure ages for the isotopes. So they can't be faked. Okay, moon rocks do not contain minerals that would indicate they were meteorites collected on Earth. In order to fake stellar exposure due to the exposure to water and oxygen atmosphere, which causes chemical changes. Okay, that makes sense. Oxidization is the key word there. So they brought back rocks and kept it in a vacuum, in a proper sealed container, because they want to study it and see if there was any water, I guess. Then no. But then again, you'd have to see the scientific documents on that, them testing the rocks. Marine rocks have thousands of tiny craters on their surface caused by micrometeorites. Yep, okay, that makes sense. None of the Apollo astronauts, deathbed or otherwise, have ever denied that they travelled to the moon. Well, that's true. Although we found out that Cooper did deny all of us UFO stories, right, as fabrication. So he pranked everybody. None of the ritual photographs of the prop rock include images taken just before and after the one in question show this letter C, and all versions of the picture can be traced to a single mimeograph duplicate of the negative. In fact, the letter C can easily be shown to be a small hair. Okay, yeah, I remember that one. Small hair that had fallen onto the glass plate of the mimeograph machine just before the duplicate was made. Oh, there you go. So yeah, it's got a few here, and I think it's also got the slow motion bit here as well somewhere. Oh, right, here we go. Well, you can suspend the astronaut to give him the correct weight for being on the moon. You can't cheat gravity. Anything not attached to the magic invisible wires has to behave correctly to the gravity field that contains it. So, me talking about the arms, right? Because they're not on wires and they're free moving. Slow motion does not produce good results for the same reason, mainly because the amount of speed change, 246%, results in a massively exaggerated movements that no natural human could pull off. Once again, you can't cheat gravity while the objects now fall at the correct rates, so they speed it up to make their claim that it was filmed on Earth and then they slowed it down. It doesn't work out. They have to be performed at heights that the motions of the astronauts on the film wouldn't be able to pull off in normal Earth gravity. This is why many hoax nuts now try to claim a combination of both wires and slow motion to try and account for these factors, but gravity will not be cheated. And no matter what they claim, like I said, they took a little short clip, cherry-picked him jumping over something where he doesn't move his arms. You just can't get it to work. Frankly, the only way to have lunar gravity is to use lunar gravity. Okay. The claims about Stanley Kubrick being part of film and production and staging of Apollo missions ignore several details that make it nigh on possible. First, 2001 was released in April the 3rd, 1968 in the United States, with a special premiere in DC, with the filming being finalized a few days before the release. This leaves almost no time available for him or anyone in production to even begin to start work on any fake Apollo footage. The situation only gets worse when you note that Kubrick was present for the premiere on May the 15th. So basically he was a busy man. He wouldn't have time to fake moon landing footage. That's what they're claiming, but couldn't he have done it way before? I'm not sure what I mean. The situation only gets worse when you note that Kubrick was present for the UK premiere. Read that bit before. Okay. Anyone claiming that Kubrick took part in any moon hoax filming does not know anything about the famed director and is only hoping to take advantage. The moon hoaxes, often in their papers and presentation, only showed the path of the Apollo missions from above, allowing them to place the ships in the densest parts of the Van Allen belt, thus allowing them to always claim the highest estimates for any and all exposure levels and times. Not only did the mission not travel directly through the belt, they went above or below them. they did not spend more than a few hours inside most dangerous sections. They also tend to quote reports about the belts being before they were extensively studied by Dr. Van Allen and others as part of their evidence, then claim any reports that disagree with initial expectations are part of the coverage. Simply a case of not understanding how scientific process works. So yeah, it goes into a lot more detail than I did last time, but on the radiation there. But yeah, that was a bit of fun with the chat AI looking it up for us. So I think I posted that link before, but there's a whole heap of stuff on there if you want to go through and read it. And then you got one person watching now. Other claims debunked. Yeah, so that's tidied up now, I think. We went to the moon. Get over it, people. So where do we begin? Do we go to Skinwalker? Or UFO hearing breakdown? I have been posting a bit about Skinwalker here and there on Discord that I've been looking at and on my Twitter. And also DM Mick West about it. I said, have you seen this? I think it's this and this. And he goes and looks at it and comes up with the same conclusion. But he gets all the credit. Plus he finds out more stuff because he's got people helping him. Which is what I don't have. But yeah, we'll just go for that one there. And maybe tack that one on after because it's on Mick as well. What else we got here? Okay, we got this Dunning guy from Skeptoid. So what's happened here? Alright, here we go. Nuclear cutting machines. GUFON. I have to find out what that one was about now. Yeah, what happened to my other post? Alright, it's above here. We come back to Dunning. I'll do a recap on him. Brian Dunning, he runs the Skeptoid magazine. But he's also a criminal. How about that? A debunker being a criminal, a proven criminal, and did jail time. And people just don't know that. And Mick West sort of covered it up when he had him on his interview. But anyway, Mick West has done this. I said, have you seen this episode? And so I chat to him. And sent him a couple of snapshots. And I said, have a watch of this. It's up your alley. Do you know much about LiDAR? So I said, from what I'm reading here, it has various problems. In fact, we could search for it again. You can see problems with LiDAR. Now, these guys they got on Skinwalker Ranch are meant to be experts. Yeah, so there is a web page with a whole section on it. Let's see. LiDAR has difficulties in bad weather conditions. Since LiDAR uses visible lasers in order to measure distance, LiDAR is unable to work well in bad weather conditions such as heavy rain, snow and fog. Okay, so that includes smoke as well, I'd say. Because smoke would have to mess it up. So let's see. Because remember they're launching rockets on the ranch. Does LiDAR work with fire, smoke? It's another one they should have really included for this. Scanning systems use atmospheric properties of smoke plumes during flight. What's this one? They can monitor smoke plumes but not penetrate it. Is that what they're saying there? What we got here? Measure air currents. Estimate smoke. So it sounds like it bounces off smoke, doesn't it? Backscatter lidars. Smoke layers. Let's see. Does lidar penetrate? I suppose. Again, this is probably where you need the AI chat thing to do it quickly. Smoke. Okay, let's try that one. Lidar sensors are unable to detect objects that are inside or behind dense smoke, fog, or dust. There you go. Even dust I've added on that one. So what they do, they fire up a lot of rockets, and they've got a lidar in the sky, and you get some funny results. So that was on one of the episodes where they got some strange missing data gap, and that's where the smoke trail of the rocket was. So I'll probably be going over that in depth. I don't think Mick has ever brought that one up, but I'll go over it. I need to do some screen snapshots from the episodes, and then we'll work through it. So they use the LiDAR quite a bit on the show, trying to say there's an anomaly. So the LiDAR does LiDAR... Oh, right, actually, how does LiDAR scan using lasers? Measures the distance to an object. The distance is measured by sending a short laser pulse. Okay, images. Let's have a see. So we want it on a drone. So they use it on helicopters, planes, and drones, but I'm not seeing any drones here. Handheld devices. And apparently iPhone has a range in LiDAR sensor to get the camera in focus perfectly, which is, I thought it was a really good idea. Why no other cameras like Android are not using it? So it's got one of these sensors here that ranges using a laser. Okay, so we're going to on drone, because okay, they've got a wing drone. How about a regular drone? So there's going to be some limitations, especially with those arms there. Wouldn't that get in the way of the lasers? Here we go. So just have a look at this. So it creates all these little black voids where the laser doesn't bounce back, right? So, yeah. Just trying to see what the limitations of rotation is under some of these drones here. Okay, does LiDAR scanning work well stationary? Didn't really read it right there, but yeah, what's going on? My mouse is not scrolling. Why is that? CPU. Anyway, Nick has looked into it anyway. I think he may have looked at their drone, how it was set up. So we'll just play this here.
From Omnitech, a data analytics company, to help them study a possible mid-air anomaly. This included recording the area with a LiDAR-equipped drone while...
Okay, so there's a picture of the drone. And it doesn't look as nicely configured as those other ones we saw of images. And it looks to me like those legs would get in the way, right? So that would have to be a blind spot, wouldn't you say? Looks like it's higher than the legs. It's like the legs retract upwards out the way, which would be a better design. So it's going to scan there, and then go past it, and then scan there with lasers, and then past it. So there's going to have to be blind spots. Let me just see what Mick comes up with.
Recording a signal from the ISS during a rocket launch. One particular scan from this event seemed to puzzle the team. It showed a sharp-edged black void. The experts said they had seen nothing like this before, and
the experts.
Travis Taylor suggested it might be a traversable Lorentzian wormhole that could be responsible
and that's what a shill scientist would say.
for the UFOs and other weird things going on at the ranch. But looking at the
okay, so look at the image here. See, it's not a perfect circle like a wormhole, and you can see it seems to almost look like where the laser hadn't got a signal, because remember we talked about smoke doesn't at least black marks, fog and cloud, dust. So I thought, could that be that the lasers are not aimed downwards, or the terrain's making the laser beam bounce off on a strange angle, so it's not getting back to the receiver, so it leaves a black void there. So if they had it hovering in one spot above the triangle, it kind of looks like it's got a pattern to it here, doesn't it? A scanning pattern. Maybe the legs were in the way. Maybe it's got a laser at the back and a laser at the front. Anyway, see what Mick comes up with.
The images, a far simpler explanation seems obvious. Notice the black shadow-like voids behind the cars and the brush. That's areas of missing data.
Okay, so where are the cars? Here. So they're bouncing off the cars, but not actually seeing what's behind the cars. Oh, there. You circled it there. Cars. And you see the blank areas is where the laser beam didn't bounce back, because it's stationary. And the only way to fill that in is if you have to fly the drone backwards and forth in a grid. Is normally what you do. You don't normally just have it up in the air stationary. But the experts should know this. That way you get it all filled in properly. And I guess that's bush there. That one's bush. That looks like it could be cars again. And more cars there. Okay, so yep, we're following along, Nick. Carry on.
LiDAR can only give you 3D data on things that it can see. So if you just hover your drone in one spot and rotate it, then you'll get these shadows all pointing towards the LiDAR sensor on the drone. And if you rotate the drone without pointing it down enough, then you'll get a void, just like this, under the drone. So it seems like the simple explanation is that this is a short scan from a roughly stationary...
Yeah, and that's what we can see here. Looks like the laser beam goes out this way, but it's not going downwards.
stationary position taken at an angle too shallow to get the ground under the drone. Now, they used an expensive LiDAR, which I don't have.
We're talking military intelligence community capable, very expensive hardware.
That's that Jay Stratton guy, whatever everyone's talking about.
That's not readily accessible.
They can't have too much of that one. We'll just carry on.
LiDAR works by bouncing an array of laser beams off the scene and then recording how far...
So this is the iPhone LiDAR. You can actually use it with apps, which is a damn good idea.
...away each point is. The iPhone LiDAR has a limited range, so I created a rough model of the scene in my backyard with cardboard boxes. Firstly, I scanned the scene from the center at a low altitude, doing a full 360 for coverage in all directions. Then I did a proper scan, with the camera a bit higher and moving around so you get lots of different angles, like you would if you were actually doing a real LiDAR survey.
Yep.
The center scan gave the same results as at Skinwalker. There are shadow voids pointing back at the camera, and there's a large void underneath where I was standing.
Yeah.
The proper scan, of course, just showed the scene with no shadow voids and no big void in the middle. This is because I moved it around so you could see all points in the scene. If you rotate the camera more precisely, like you could with a drone, you get a better circle. Then if you make small adjustments while rotating it, that changes the shape a bit. So it looks like that's what they did here. Just a quick 360 scan with a couple of slight dips which give you these curves. Nothing too complicated, no wormhole, and certainly not something they should be puzzled about.
Well, Travis thinks it's a wormhole, and he's got Brandon thinking it's correct too.
And please tell me you've seen this sort of thing before.
No. Neither's the team. So, as you meant, Sam is...
So that guy's body language, he was lying, wasn't he, when he said no? Look,
Neither's the team. So...
he's holding his chin there.
You've seen this sort of thing before.
No.
Yeah, look, he looks so non-guilty. Not.
Neither's the team. So, as you meant, Sam is optical expert, electronic warfare guy, looks at all kinds of radar images, and everybody's kind of scratching their head, to say the least.
But Travis should know this. He should be able to do some quick Google search, just like I did, and look at the drone itself and figure it out, right? And you don't just send it up once, right? You get the drone again, you send it up at a different area on the ranch and see if it produces the same hole. That's what a real scientist should do. So this show is just a entertainment, brain dumbing show, really.
East over what this is.
So what is going on here? Is everyone inept? Is everyone lying? No. I don't think either of those things are true. I
don't know, he had a bit of a smirk on his face, that guy that was lying his ass off, being the expert. I think Nick's just given an easy out here. I think it's all acted and scripted. Can't tell him the truth. The hole is not a wormhole, Travis. Go and give your PhD back.
A lot of the cast members seem to genuinely believe that things like this are legitimate discoveries. I don't know why Omnitech messed this up, or why Travis postulated wormholes, but showmanship or genuine mistake, either way, they are fooling honest people both in the show and out in the audience.
Bingo. Okay, so if you want to watch that, you can. Skinwalker busted again. But yeah, wait till I do a full breakdown of the season. I suppose I'll recap that one again quickly, though. I'll take my own snaps of it. But yeah, Mick actually did add more the day after that one. Let's see if we can find it, where he actually got the scanning angle of that drone and matched it to the pattern on the ground. Let's see. I did think I shared on my page. Might be quicker just to, I don't know if he's put it up there. I don't think so. McWest. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I don't really like the new X design myself. I don't know about you guys. I kind of like the little blue bird. But I can understand why he might want to change it. But X has got nothing to do with twitting, is it? Twitting like a bird. I would have done, I'd maybe put an X on the side of the bird, maybe. Like it's been stamped or something. Elon stamp on the Twitter bird. I suppose it's not really his logo, really, though. If he uses a bird still. Or maybe design a different bird, like a phoenix, maybe. That would be pretty cool. But anyway, that's sidetrack stuff. McWest. So he did actually do, but it's going to be under all the hearing nonsense. Distraction, as I call it. Distract us from the real UFO stuff. I wonder if there's a quick way to search. He posts more than I do. I post a lot. But he is almost like double me, I think. Come on, Mick. Where's the Skinwalker stuff? I sort of got lit behind. Oh, here we go. So he found... Remember that I was talking about the legs getting in the way? Well, that looks like where the legs were, right? So he's saying here, the curious shape of the LiDAR shadow here appears to come from rotating the sensor 360 degrees, but dipping down the angle for half the rotation. Is that because of the legs getting in the way? You know what I mean? Would be good to overlay the drone on top of that, I guess. But yeah, there you go. He's got the shape matched. There's the shape there. So there must be a certain limit to the laser. It wasn't able to go downwards. We could see that with the drone on that video from the show. It wasn't able to bend down more than that. So it should have been a nice little circle there, probably. But yeah, how Travis can come up with that as a wormhole is just absolutely ridiculous, right? Now, there must be something different here with the red circle, though. So it's got some bounce back, but what's the red mean? I don't know. Green, yellow, flat. Red raised. So it might be slightly sunken there as well. I did actually post some on mine of the images. Did he post any more? Let me just... here's one. Has that one got it? You can see it's got this red altar here. And he happens there. The question is why? Now he's got a black and white version of it here without the colour added. So artificially coloured for what? I don't know. It's less circular here though. Well, we know there was brush there, some brush there. And we've got the road going through, and there's the cars. There's some cars, so now we can see the cars better. Anyway, I think we've done enough on that one. Keep on moving. Next one with Mick is this one here with Green Street. Which is a summary of the latest hearings. What come from it. So we'll just play some of it here. It's quite long, I think. What is it? 24 minutes. We'll just play a wee bit of it. It's muted.
The UFO stuff the last few years. You have single-handedly, through math and logic, debunked several UFO photos and videos, and you're also the author of Escaping the Rabbit Hole. History today, Mick, will go down in the history books as something truly incredible. UFO hearings in Congress. Give me your initial thoughts.
Well, I was a bit disappointed, I must say. It was being billed in various arenas as being like the great revelation that's going to end all the speculation about UFOs. And really what we heard was very little that was new. There were three witnesses, Dave Grush, Dave Fravor, and Ryan Graves. And all of them have spoken before, Graves and Fravor at length for several years. And they said very little that was new. It was a bit disappointing. And, you know, for viewers who may not know...
Which is basically what I said, wasn't it? David Fravor's only first-hand witness of seeing it. But he didn't record it. Ryan Graves never saw any UFOs. And he's changed his story with the sphere with the cube. Remember that one? Where he said it passed between them, which could have caused the accident. And then he later changed the story that it probably didn't pass between them, but they actually flew past it and didn't see it at the time. And it's most possibly a balloon, so he changed it to that. And then the latest one was it could have been a drone. So Graves keeps changing the story, and of course David is again all second-hand stories from what he was told. And there was no new videos, no photographs of evidence, so it was a better structured presentation and questions and answers, but there's nothing new was come from it. From what I heard anyway. It was like getting a recap of Fravor's story, right? How he first saw it and went back and they flew out a craft with the actual pod on it. See if they could capture it again.
David Fravor's story was, we first heard of his story in December 2017. And his story has gotten a lot of coverage. Documentaries, movies made about his story over the last 6 years. Yeah. And again, Congress pulls him in and he tells the same story.
Well, someone's making money out of it somewhere.
Ryan Graves, we've heard his story since, I believe, 2019. And documentaries made about his story. Tons of media coverage on his story. He's brought in where he tells the same story. Dave Grush, who was, did a huge interview on News Nation and spilled the beans about aliens, comes in and again offered nothing.
Did he say aliens or did he say just non-humans? Because that's, to me, is different wording,
New. The big headline is nothing new. Well, let's talk about evidence, because that's been the main thing that's been lacking the last 6 years, is a lot of stories, a lot of photos with stories behind them, a lot of videos with stories behind them. But it's really been lacking on evidence of non-human intelligence, of aliens, of extraterrestrials. Yeah. So it all led up to today's hearing. There were a lot of expectations for evidence. Did you see, were you convinced, was any evidence presented?
There was almost no new evidence. Professor Avi Loeb was running the Galileo project, which is a scientific project to look for UFOs, basically, in our airspace.
And he hangs out with third phase.
Said a couple of days ago, we need real evidence, not what people said. And really all we've got from these hearings is what people said. David Grush is going by mostly what people told him. And then we have these eyewitness accounts of Fravor and Graves, and then they tell us that there's more information. We need to get to that real evidence.
You could tell that some of these congressional leaders were attending their UFOs 101 class, and I think a lot of people are disappointed.
Yeah, that Tim is also a third phase of the fan groupie, isn't he? So can't trust anything that comes out of that guy's head as well. Anyone that hangs with third phase, you can't trust, full stop. But most of them, like I said last live, seems like they were totally new to the topic. Like for the first time, they were asking the same questions that had already been asked from the previous person. And looks like they just wrote up a load of lists, but weren't actually paying attention to what was being said, and then started out reading out their own list, which was all the same stuff again. No hard questions. Just the basic questions again.
They thought Congress was on this the last few years, that they'd been digging, getting, classified data and evidence and information and all this stuff, and that we'd be further along than just the very, very, very basics.
They're too busy trying to get Trump all the time.
At this point. But let's talk about the witnesses. So the big thing today was, Congress handpicked 3 witnesses to come and testify and share what they knew about a UAP and what they felt should be done. And so let's start with Ryan.
See, I would have thought they would have got the other people that were with these that actually did see the UFO as well. Like Fravor, why didn't they have the other people as witnesses on that hearing instead of having Fravor? Something that's fresh, instead of the old stuff again. So people are saying it's the best hearing ever, but it was good, but I wouldn't say it was the best. It could be a lot better,
Graves. Ryan Graves is a former F-18 pilot whose squadron observed unidentified objects, or at least on their sensors observed off the East Coast in a training area, which I believe is a big clue. In a military training area, would constantly observe, per Graves, these objects that seem to be doing weird things like hovering in place despite wind with no visible propulsion. What are your insights and opinions on Ryan Graves as a witness and Ryan Graves's testimony of UAP off the East Coast?
Well, Ryan Graves never actually saw a UAP. This is something I think that gets conflated and people don't really understand what they're talking about. And when he talks about saying we saw these things every day for 2 years, what he's talking about is blips on the radar. What happened was that they upgraded their radar system. They previously had a kind of an old-fashioned radar that had this little dish that points around in the nose of the plane. and they upgraded it to this kind of flat panel one, which is much more sensitive and easier to direct in different directions. And after they replaced this radar with the newer radar, they started seeing these blips on the radar, and they originally thought that there was something wrong with the radar. Now, it may just be, and this is perhaps the leading hypothesis for what's actually going on there, is that the majority of those things were balloons. We know.
Well, they also could be drones as well, and maybe even large birds. Who knows? Or even weather anomalies, right?
Know that the military does have a big issue with mylar balloons, and and
of course you can't discount them being Chinese weather balloons that we heard about this year. So there's a lot of possibilities what they could be detecting. It doesn't have to be aliens at all. And of course that strange cube one in the sphere, we do know there was some radar decoys that actually fit that description. And of course, it doesn't mean that there was no Chinese and Russians following their training exercise, and or DARPA even, that may not even still have stuff classified. And no one in the Navy was told about it. There still may be a possibility there. Could be testing out their response to their new product. Put it that way. Hey, how's it going? You should be good, proud, and not stupid enough not to believe it. What do you mean by that, though? Believe what? What they saw?
Most recent report by Arrow, they said that nearly half of the ones that they identified were actually balloons. So definitely balloons are a problem. So the question is, like, is there actually strong evidence of something amazing going on?
It can't be overstated that Graves is on the record saying he personally never saw one of these objects. And I believe what he means, even though it's completely murky, still, and I don't know why it's never cleared up or asked about, is he never physically saw with his own eyes any of these objects, ever. It was always a squadron member saw them, or I know someone who saw them, or etc. Is where the majority...
That sounds very much like David Grush as well, isn't it?
majority of this testimony comes from, and that's been his story for years. And so why weren't any of those people...
Yeah, exactly.
The people who actually saw them, why weren't the people who actually saw these things called before Congress?
Yeah, and I think...
So that's the people we wanted to hear from this time, not just the old stuff. But this is like a reboot. A reboot hearing where everybody's finally up to speed in Congress and the US government. And now we've got them on the thinking train. Maybe they'll go out and ask questions and bring some new answers. Or maybe they won't. They're too busy doing their corruption or politics. Shelley, oh, I didn't see your message. It got says deleted here. Missed it. Anyway.
If we can't get the real evidence in terms of recordings and data and radar and things like that, the next best thing would be the first-hand witnesses.
Another thing that I didn't really hear brought up.
Well, that's quite an interesting thing that Mick West said there. Remember, he's always skeptical about witnesses being valid evidence, because witnesses are not 100% accurate. So that's kind of strange that he would say that first-hand accounts is better than nothing.
In today's hearing, few mentions of the Chinese spy balloon, but nobody...
So the spy balloon has never ever been verified, right? Remember, they didn't get all the bits out the sea and stuff. And they just said, oh, yeah, it had solar panels and antennas on it, but it never showed us any of sensitive listening equipment or camera equipment. They just said, oh, it's a spy balloon, the government. To me, that sounded like some sort of BS from the government to try and pin down China. So they used that to pin down electronic corporations selling and importing of products and stuff, right? So they used it for that reason. So yeah, I think it was a lot of internal politics on that. I don't think the Chinese wouldn't be stupid enough to send a spy balloon slowly over America, where it could be shot down and all the parts collected from the desert, because that's really what it should have happened, right? Shouldn't have been shot overseas where it was going to get lost. That was like a stupid decision by the government. Okay, Sugar, making breakfast. What is the time over there? Right, 9:30. That's a late breakfast, I suppose, for an Englishman. What is it? Bacon and eggs and toast and mushrooms and tomatoes. That's what Dad has every day. I don't know how he does it. He has the full English breakfast every morning. And he's got perfect sugar levels. That's like the perfect breakfast if you're diabetic as well. And you can go all day on that without having to eat lunch and stuff. But back onto the UAP stuff here. So yeah, it's funny how the repeating the same lefty politics of it being a spy balloon when there's no evidence still of it being a spy balloon. I don't think the Chinese would be that stupid, because they could just shoot it down and say, well, there's a camera, there's this thing, and it's only used for spying on, eavesdropping and breaking into phone lines. And why they didn't do that is probably for a good reason, because they didn't want to bring it down over land, because they knew they would be able to collect all the bits. Why shoot it down over land when you can shoot it over sea and it gets lost in the sea currents and the seaweed and stuff? And as you know from that submarine, that disaster, there's only a certain depth that divers can go, and only for a certain amount of time. But we're all being played here with the US government, I think. Everyone's being played on the UFO stuff. And to me, it looks almost like it was designed to bring to light the Chinese balloons and use that as another narrative. Because it's not the first time they've been detected, right? They've been detected even while Trump was in power, but no one told Trump about it. And then, of course, now everybody blames Trump for letting the spy balloons happen. But he wasn't even told about it. He wasn't even briefed on it, which is kind of strange that the military weren't briefing him on everything. Because he's meant to be the commander-in-chief, right? You can see the corruption going in all the three-letter departments over there, FBI, CIA, and NSA. Not cooperating with the Trump administration.
It really mentions a lot of the news that has come out based on Navy documentation and vast reporting, that a lot of these objects that were described off the East Coast, that Graves described, the only object that was eyes on, that people saw with their eyes, was a round object with a cube inside of it.
10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, two F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft.
If you look in human-made history, if you look at what humans have made in the military, humans have made clear, transparent orbs with cubes inside of them. These are radar reflectors, radar jammers, or whatever, and there's a cube within a sphere. So humans have made something that looks like that. It goes into the air, it has a process, and then you learn that After the Chinese spy balloon, there was further reporting that there were smaller balloons, had been for a while, smaller Chinese balloons off the East Coast in this exact area that were radar jamming balloons. So you've
well, there you go. They're just testing out to see whether their product worked on the US Navy. So I didn't realise there were smaller balloons. Those ones we saw on TV were 3 buses plus in size, right? So yeah, so they might have had smaller ones. What 36 inches, 72 inches, or something like that. And of course, now if you think back to that one, was it the Omaha video where it looks like a balloon coming down into the sea? That's probably one of the smaller Chinese radar jamming balloons that was being tested, probably. And there you go. It's starting to all fit together now, isn't it? I think all this is distraction from the real UFO stuff myself. All this is part of the 99% stuff so they can get more funding from the government and make UFOs more of a laughing stock, basically. Saying it's all military experiments by the other countries. And we'll never get the answers. We'll never get... See, we talked about that with Robert. You know, if they really wanted disclosure to happen, they could just simply have released all those Roswell reports before they disappeared. all the footage. There must be footage. They couldn't have destroyed all the footage and photographs. I just don't believe it. That wouldn't make any sense. But there's got to be other stuff out there. Because we've heard people talk about them taking away footage of other things. Like the landing of the UFO at, what was it, Edwards or whatever it was, with Cooper. But then again, we're not sure if he was lying about that event or not. But because he has admitted to denying his UFO stuff in the end. And of course people say he was got to by the Men in Black, right? So you can always keep the conspiracy going. Maybe he only had a couple of real scientists, the rest of it was this mundane stuff that he realised it wasn't actually UFOs but space debris or whatever. Maybe that's more the truth. So yeah, they're going to talk about these smaller balloons here.
Historical precedent. You've got, objects that were made by humans.
Builds is what we might be looking at, but it's possible that some of that they weren't even familiar with it because it's like kind of the unsexy aspect of what we're talking about. It's not aliens; it's just Chinese spy balloons, which is obviously a big issue in itself.
So even Mick sold on the spy balloons instead of saying weather/spy balloons. Alleged. He should be saying alleged spy balloons.
Like you wouldn't actually see the action that is being taken. There would be action, but it would be top secret, and Graves himself wouldn't actually know about it. The pilots wouldn't know about what was being done in terms of countermeasures. I think that probably most of what they were seeing on the East Coast was just normal airborne clutter, but it's certainly possible that some of that might be Chinese balloons or drones trying to test out our airspace.
Let's move on to David Grush. David Grush made...
I think Mick is actually right there.
made headlines 2 months ago going on.
But then we got some other eyewitness accounts talking about triangles coming out of the sea when they clamped down the ship and told everybody to get inside the ship. But I don't know, that's just another story with no actual evidence again. So, but that wasn't another year, wasn't it? 1971, was it? I can't remember now, but it's been talked about in the past.
On News Nation, which has become America's
I think
UFO
I did
channel.
actually cover it. If you go to my Tic Tac playlist, I think it's in there somewhere. And I played the video clip of him talking about it.
With a jaw-dropping story and allegations that the U.S. government has a top secret, uber secret team that recovers crashed non-human UFOs, that non-human intelligence bodies were inside these UFOs, that people have been killed to keep it a secret, that the aliens themselves have been killing humans, a whole bunch of stuff. And so he was, dead center in today's hearing. What did you think of his testimony and what he had to say?
Yeah, I mean, this whole hearing, I think, was triggered by his initial claims, and really, people did want to hear what he had to say. I wanted to hear what he had to say, but he didn't say anything new that I can really think of that was actually significant. No. He basically repeated some of the same claims, perhaps in less detail than he had before, but in nearly every interesting question, like he was asked things like, have we made contact with aliens? And he would say that he can't talk about this. He can talk about it in a secure.
But he also made claims of that hoax in 1933 with the German Bell retrieval. So yeah, that should have been the hard questions, right? Why, they should have been asking him about the 1933 proven hoax, why he believed it was real. Should have been putting more hard questions to him. Also, didn't he have documents that were meant to be being approved for clearance or something? Couldn't that have been even shown? Even a page or two from those documents? I don't know if the documents are any use, though.
Secure setting.
I can't discuss that in an open session.
Over and over again, that was his answer.
I do know a lot of that information, but that's something I can't discuss publicly. I can't discuss that publicly. Once again, I can't discuss that publicly.
So it was very disappointing.
Yeah, wasn't he meant to have been cleared for that, though? Yeah, you can find out that information in my new movie coming out, a documentary movie, only $30.
It was originally billed, I think, as being this great hearing where we would have all these witnesses coming forward. The people that David Grush had talked to, who had told him these things, were going to be subpoenaed and brought in, and they would tell us all about the...
Yeah, wasn't it 6 people? And then they got rid of 3 of them because they had, dodgy... I don't know what you call it, backgrounds or something. So what happened to the last 3? They also didn't check out, so they didn't bring them into the hearings. Yeah, I wonder why they got rejected, though. That would have been good to hear why those 6 were rejected. Did they have mental problems? A lot of them do have mental problems after they've been in a war zone. What was it called? PSTD or something like that? I always get the letters around the wrong way. So, yeah. Or maybe they had no clearance as well on the other 3. But the first 3 were definitely ruled out, wasn't it? From what we heard.
Where the bodies were and which hangar these flying...
Yeah, that's right. That massive building that's meant to have a UFO in it. They could have at least said, asked a hard question on that. Where is that location? I can't tell you on public forum. I can tell you after.
Sources are in, and where's this giant one that's in another country somewhere? But we didn't. We just got David Grush himself and these 2 other pilots that we've been hearing from for years. And then David Grush just repeats essentially everything that he'd said before and says that anything else I'm going to have to tell you in a secure setting. Sure. So it kind of kicked the can down the road. And
Mick's doing a pretty good job here, isn't he? It's one of his better interviews, I think.
Yeah,
As
hopefully.
is tradition here.
Indeed.
He states this in his opening statement and reiterates this because he's asked about it, is he didn't physically firsthand see any of this stuff. He says in his statement that a lot of this information was given to him through second, third parties. And he considers those people to be legitimate. And so he considers what they have to say to be real. And no names were named. He wasn't really asked to name any names.
That would be a hard question.
So it's still this big question mark. And as you said, it's disappointing because we thought these answers were coming today. They didn't come today. Get the people who saw the alien bodies in the seats with their hand raised saying, I swear, get those people. It just seemed like a missed opportunity. Another thing that struck me was there were basically no...
why couldn't they get those people that saw the bodies draw pictures of what they saw? Or get some, sketch artists to draw it, and then they say, is that what you saw? A bit like they do on the Dead Files show. And they got AOC here. Oh, God.
No critical questions asked from congressional leaders. There were no...
What was that guy called? Lee Worthy? He was just a total waste of time, that guy. He wasn't paying attention whatsoever. He was asking all the same questions, and Fravor was almost burst out laughing. As I said previously...
No digging, insightful, real questions. Did you get that impression as well?
Yeah, but I think that's because they don't really understand the situation. We saw from the people running the show, Burchett and Luna, they didn't really have a good grasp on the details, and the other people there, a lot of them seem to be learning about it for the first time. And whenever you get to a question that was actually kind of getting to the meat of the matter, Grush would just say that he couldn't answer that question. So even when we did have some somewhat skeptical questions, I think from Eric Burleson had a few.
Doing a good interview here.
He wasn't able to get any answers.
Everyone's heard the Tic Tac story, or at least they think they've heard the Tic Tac story and they know the basics, but the key thing is this, and no one asks about this, no one knows about this, and it seems like the media and Congress just don't care, is that he says, and he reiterated today, Mick, that his encounter with the Tic Tac was 5 minutes, a five-minute encounter.
What we saw with 4 sets of eyes over a 5-minute period, still, there's nothing, we have nothing close to it. It was amazing to see.
The pilot of the plane next to him was Alex Dietrich. Alex Dietrich was his wing person, essentially. She says the whole thing lasted 10 seconds. Her testimony is that it lasted 10 seconds, and she...
Wow, that's a good point there, isn't it? Why the difference in such time? Visual for 10 to 8 seconds. 5 minutes would be a lifetime for visual. You'd run out of fuel. Oh my gosh, so I didn't even know this. She's counteracting David Fravor's story. Again, I've always said that Fravor could be just repeating disinformation. Right. Maybe she's more legit and probably got told off for saying that after.
She scoffs at the idea of it being 5 minutes, and that's just silly. And so you've got 2 witnesses basically right there in the same area, and they can't. One says it lasted 5 minutes. One says it lasted 10 seconds. That's a huge discrepancy where the 2 main witnesses can't even agree on the basics.
How much would you see in 10 seconds? That's like a plane that flies over the house. We don't see much of it at all. It just gets smaller and smaller and less detail, right, as it flies away. But yeah, we'll be doing a sky watch sometime next week, I hope, if we got the nice clear skies. But we're about to hopefully have planes up. I think Wednesdays is the busy day for planes, so maybe do a Wednesday night one. So you can see how quickly the planes fly overhead and disappear live, I guess, hopefully.
About this Tic Tac encounter, but it's never brought up, it's never asked about.
No, it's kind of hand waved away.
So really, they should have had the other partner or Fravor there and ask her, was it 5 minutes? Because that would have sort of made him look stupid. But can you verify that it was 5 minutes that you saw it? No, it's more like 10 seconds. Why is there a difference in time, guys?
Again, you said, oh, maybe it's just like a misunderstanding or time dilation or something like that. But you can't really hand wave away a 10 seconds versus 5 minutes.
A lot of folks today,
Yeah, I
Burchett,
don't think you can.
Fravor, Graves mentioned it, a few others mentioned it, that the genesis of either their personal interest or the general interest in the public and Congress goes back to the 2017 New York Times.
Could that have been a misunderstanding there of the 5 minutes? Maybe if David Fravor was talking about the whole event being 5 minutes, but actually saying it was actually 10 seconds. Could that be what happened there? So that should have been one of the questions at the hearing, shouldn't it? They should have nailed him down on that. And then see if he changed his answer. No, I saw it for 5 minutes. Or everybody saw it within that 5 minutes. That's totally different. So yeah.
Front page article on the Pentagon's UFO program, ATIP. Multiple times this was brought up today.
A groundbreaking 2017 New York Times report.
2017 New York Times.
Like many others, in 2017, I saw the New York Times article.
From New York Times article, and I would encourage everybody to read that.
And that was just shocking to me because through my reporting, we've demonstrated that article was factually inaccurate, deceptive. That story is mostly false and wrong. And to hear congressional leaders, witnesses, everyone still saying it all goes back to this article shows me that people still haven't caught up to what's going on, really going on in this story. People just don't know the facts, the basic facts about what's going on. Were you shocked to hear? Do you continue to be shocked to hear about the 2017 New York Times article?
No, unfortunately not, because it's something that just comes up all the time as being, essentially like a red pill moment for people. It was for Grush himself. Like he got interested in UFOs starting with that particular thing, and so many people have told me that that was their introduction to what was going on. They read the New York Times story. And so they get sucked in because of that. And this New York Times story is just given it the kind of authority of the New York Times said this.
The program was Skinwalker Ranch. It was OSAP. It was Robert Bigelow and people chasing dino beavers and werewolves. And Leslie Kane, a UFO activist, took the story, threw OSAP away, threw Skinwalker away, and made it just about UFOs, which got to her credit, got the attention of Congress. The problem being most of the story was wrong. And that's not an opinion. It's wrong. The story is absolutely a wrong, false story. And we heard today congressional leaders and the witnesses saying that article continues to be their inspiration. It continues to push the issue further in Congress. And none of them are aware of the fact that the story is riddled with unimpeachable.
And Sondo didn't run any apartments.
Errors. The public isn't aware of this. The media isn't aware of this. And I guarantee you Congress isn't aware of this. But David Grush is, without a doubt, linked to
I can guarantee media certainly don't know about it because Jesse Walters on Fox News had that Bledsoe, Chris Bledsoe on there as an alien abductee. Oh my god. Don't they do any background checking on these people? Now Bledsoe's original story, fishing trip, has been debunked by MUFON. They stuck him in a lie detector test and he didn't pass any of the questions. Now there is that part of it, I think it's one of the episodes on a series called UFOs over Earth. If you've not seen it, I think it's like 3 or 5 parts. I think it might be only 3. But one of them is the Bledsoe case, and them talking about it and the results of the lie detector test. So it's well, go and check it out. You might be able to find it even on YouTube under a free watch, maybe. But I think those old links have now been deleted by YouTube for copyright infringement or whatever, you know. But you might be able to find them around the web if you look for it. UFOs over Earth. Basically, it's about following MUFON's star team. And they'll go out to these locations and investigate the best cases when they come in of actual what is it, close encounters of the fourth kind or whatever. Third kind, fourth kind. Let's see. Might just have to see if we can search it here. I'm not sure what episode it was. Bledsoe. I'm pretty sure it was on that one. Bledsoe. There we go. Corrected it. There you go. The Fayetteville incident. So I suppose that must be his location. So yeah, what episode was it? Season 1. They only did one season, unfortunately. Oh, the first episode. There you go. Where we go. Possible alien induction using tools of science. Is episode 1 free, is it? Sometimes they have free to watch, don't they? Like the first episode. There you go. There's only 3 episodes. The Mexico one really shows up Jaime Maussan. They proved it was a hoax, and yet Jaime Maussan wouldn't believe it. And he's saying his expert says it's real. But yeah, I think even Mark D'Antonio was on that one, did a quick analysis on it, and said, yeah, here's obvious something that's close to the camera, a model or whatever. There was one guy that was using a skylight. I'm not sure if it was that same guy or not, where he was placing buttons on the sky window in the roof, and then he was taking photographs and videos of it. And he got away with it for a wee while until people cottoned on. But yeah, go and check it out. I'll post the link in the side. You might be able to find it elsewhere, right? Getting back. Yeah, I think Bledsoe was on Fox News. Actually, let's just see if we can find it. Now, I've caught him hoaxing stuff, photographs and stuff. Myself, looking at the images. And of course that story about the dog bleeding. Well, we know Labradors especially have lopomas and also cysts. And cysts often pop and bleed. And you put your hand over it to, you know, a bit like any bleeding, and it stops. Claims he has superpowers. Fox News, does it come up? There you go. 3 days ago. I actually sent a tweet to Jesse saying, how could you have a proven UFO fraud on your show. It's making ufology look stupid. Where's it disappear to? It's got a little pop-up, is it? No, what's happened there? It keeps coming up. It must be in the list here. Is it? It was on this page somewhere. It was meant to be anyway. Oh, what's happening there? I won't scroll now. Must be on this one, is it?
Well, we heard from an expert. Now let's talk to a witness. Christopher.
Oh, I suppose we could play a wee bit of it. It wouldn't be fair use, I suppose.
Christopher Bledsoe says he's not only seen UFOs, but he can summon them on command. It started when...
Red flag, red flag.
Bledsoe went on a fishing trip in 2007. He says he saw an orb that followed him home. And he still sees the orbs above his house to this day. He's become something of a psychological phenomenon. His experience is so compelling that both NASA and the CIA have studied his brain. Even the History Channel's documenting it. They filmed him IDing an orb live. Watch.
He's pointing now. So maybe...
Okay, I bet they're not using any phone apps, making sure there's no planes on the flight radar path.
He's focusing on one. That would make sense.
He has one. He's got one in the tree line. When we started seeing that intense effort, he spotted an orb in the tree line.
Let's turn it over to Christopher Bledsoe, who
I can't believe they got this guy on.
personally witnessed UFOs. So, Chris, the CIA studying you, NASA...
Yeah, it doesn't tell you that he's running the Church of Healers.
studying you, the History Channel studying you. Tell Jesse Waters Primetime the truth. You can summon...
Okay, so are we looking at planes here?
alien orbs.
Well,
looks like some blinking going on there.
It's been happening for the last 15 years. And
hang on, isn't that planes in a holding pattern? Whereabouts is he? Location. That's what I want to know. That looks like planes flying around in a holding pattern.
you know, I ask them to come and they come, and I don't know why, but they do. And I've taken 2,500 videos in the last 24 months, like you're seeing there.
See, it's got a little blinking going on. It blurs out when I pause it.
I just simply say a prayer. That's all I do, and they come.
Oh yeah, that'll really help, mate. How about getting a phone app and proving it's not planes? How about a proper camera that can do 100 times zoom and zoom on those little objects there?
It's crazy to think that's how it happened.
Do you think there might be something wrong with you?
Definitely
no, I don't
is.
think so. The government's trying to figure out why this is happening. They have been for quite some time.
How did it start?
Well, it started in 2000.
See, the problem with sky watchers, how do they know they're not being pranked by someone that knows they're outside looking for UFOs, right? Oh, we'll just send up our drone and just fly it around. This is the problem I have. You can't just stand at a spot, so you got to send out someone on the road and actually keep going towards it until it gets closer and closer, and then you can maybe work out if someone's pranking you or whatever, you know. This is where, hopefully, if History Channel are documenting it, they're going to do proper research, and I bet they won't. So they won't have anyone from MUFON that knows hoaxes. And of course, they know this guy didn't pass the lie detector tests.
2007, I was down on my luck. I'd lost basically everything. After the World Trade Center disaster, I had 130 houses a year I was building. I had 70 under construction. And Fort Bragg is where I live in that area, and they stopped buying houses, and with interest rates at 8 and 9% on construction.
I reckon we don't need to listen to any more of that, but you can, I'll post a link to it. if you want to have a listen. Fox. There we go. Whereabouts does he live? Because I like to investigate this guy and to really put him to the test. What was the name? Ferret or something, wasn't it? How was it spelt now? Fair vet, what was it? Fayette. I don't know. How was it spelt? Let's see. Chris Bledsoe location. See if it comes up. Oh, you're doxing him. There we go. Whereabouts is he located though? Oh no, Beyond Skinwalker Ranch has got Bledsoe on. When did that happen? Well, that makes the show look even more ridiculous than in that case. What episode was that on? Right, there you go, the History Channel. So it must be on Beyond Skinwalker Ranch then. Of course, then it's not properly investigated then in that case, because they don't go out and chase things. Whereabouts is he located though? I don't think it's the same Chris Bledsoe, was it? That's not him. I don't think. And God curses. Don't know, it could be. Or was that another one? That's him. Shilling on all the podcasts out there. Okay. Also after his location though. UFOs of God. Oh no. So there's the money. The money grift. Yeah, this guy needs to be investigated. What? $62? Oh my god. No wonder he's plugging it. What happened there? Audio book. $22.95 there. UFOs of Earth. Can we get his location? Well, there we go. Vetville. What a strange name. Okay, let's see. Is that where he lives though? I don't know. Must be the state at least. North Carolina. There we go. So it's a city. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see if there's where's the airports. Okay, there we go. Can we see airports on that basic map? And what location? Can't see anything on that map. How about this one? Oh, the wrong zoom in. I have to use that one. Okay, here we go. Might be able to see something now. There's a lot of little houses. Quite a lot. Yeah, you think all those people living there, only he gets to see the UFOs. So there's a lot of red flags. Oh, here's the airport. There we go. It's got a plain symbol there, but as soon as we zoom out, it disappears, which is a bit unfortunate. So that's interesting. That's outside that chunk there for some reason. Why is that? There's definitely a lot of forest and river and lake. So I wonder where he lives. Because guarantee it'll be planes in a holding pattern, right? It'd be interesting if we had the information handy. Oh, I missed your other comment, Shelley. I'm not sure what you said. Was not Duncan, same as your dog. How about that for synchronicity? 62-year-old. Pro Bible. His daily UFO encounters. Investigated by NASA and CIA. Really? And what did they say? Load of gobblers. When was that done? July this year, so it must be something recent then. He's not talking about beyond Skinwalker Ranch. That Indian guy is hopeless. Well, I say Indian. I think he's Jamaican. Jamaican guy with the ponytail is a CIA guy. Is clueless. And NASA, I'm not sure who the NASA person was. So that's really misleading. They should say investigated by the guys on Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. Straight away you switch off. Yeah. Anyway, enough on Bledsoe, I think. Looks like we're not going to get a address for him. So we got a city, but we really want a suburb. If we can get the suburb, or whatever they call it in America, and that wouldn't give out his exact location, keep his private stuff. Unless he's purposely doxed himself and doesn't care if people know where he lives. Some people do that. But yeah. If anyone knows where he actually lives, let me know in private, and we'll see if it's possibly a holding pattern of the airport there. Because it looks like he could be somewhere there looking this way. There's a lot of forest there. So he could be... There's some forest there, isn't it? So he could be anywhere there looking towards the airport. Anyway. Back to the Mick West thing. Got sidetracked there.
Ghost hunters.
Yeah.
Jay Stratton dates back to 2007 at least. When it comes to interest in Skinwalker Ranch, Stratton, who was Grush's boss at the UAP task force, claims that he's haunted by ghosts and werewolves and believes in this kind of weird multi-dimensional pseudo-psychic kind of reality to this phenomena. Grush is linked to Eric Davis, who just 3 years ago, almost word for word, claimed the exact same thing that Grush is claiming to the New York Times. You could go read the New York Times right now. Eric Davis says off-world vehicles not...
Well, that just proves David Grush is just parroting what other people said, right?
Not from this earth. The government's retrieving the crashes. all this stuff. Eric Davis is a longtime Skinwalker Ranch ghost hunter, claims ghosts spoke to him telepathically. It's still, I don't think Congress even knows. I don't think they know that Skinwalker ghost hunters were in charge of the Pentagon's UAP task force for years. I don't think they realize this. I don't think they even know about this yet.
No, I don't. I agree, and it's probably something the Pentagon is a little bit embarrassed about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure if you ask Kirkpatrick about it, he'll roll his eyes because it's kind of the bane of his existence that he's got this kind of legacy of poor investigation that went before him.
Right.
But yeah, it's very much a real thing, and it continues to be with Travis Taylor and Stratton working on Skinwalker Ranch now, which is just.
Yeah. So, almost got to the end of that, so we won't do the rest of it. But normally I haven't got any complaints from Green Streak sharing his stuff so far. So I'll just post it down the side here. Green Streak Mick here in interview. You can listen to the rest of it yourself. Oh. Can't quite read now. That font is really small on the other screen. There we go. Maybe I should have posted it up here. Actually, how much time have I got left? I think I'm going to run out of time again. It's been too long and stuff. What should we do next? What was that one? Right. Speaking of Skinwalker Ranch, before we leave it, is this post here. What apparently Brandon said, which is kind of explains his stance on people like me asking for the raw videos and data, and Mick West. He reckons we're all pigs. So we'll just play that.
What we've experienced from certain people who are asking for data or screaming for data as a cover for trying to they're trying to convey an air of intelligence or so-called intelligence or critical thinking, when in fact they're just pigs. They're just absolute pigs.
Go on.
What we are encountering is nothing more than a bunch of swine, squealing, pathetic, stinky swine.
There's no doubt that Mr. Fugal and the rest of the Skinwalker crew are upset by this episode and the conclusions I had to come to. Because I gave Mr. Fugal multiple chances to deliver on his
I think
promise.
he's actually not just talking about you, Green Streak. I think he's talking about Mick West and myself. Because I've asked for the real footage so I can analyse it better instead of taking it from a horrible TV quality version when they got probably 4K versions that you could download if they uploaded it for you. Anyway, yeah, fancy calling people requesting the actual source files and data as pigs when we just want to get the answers and tell them that we can confirm it as a UFO in the video or not, you know. So yeah, I posted that one there if you just want to watch the rest of that or whatever. I think he's got a link to his series, 5-part series. It's well worth watching on the Skinwalker Ranch if you've not seen it. So Fancy Brandon's saying that on the air. That's kind of stupid of him. We researchers are pigs. Now, it's pretty old, I know, I said it months ago, I know, but I thought, oh, that clip's recirculating. I thought I'd just share it. Oh, GUFON. I'm not sure what he said in that one, but probably will have a look. And see what it is again. Oh.
But I can't breathe. But all I know is that I probably won't remember this tomorrow, so I hope the video remains. And then the next day I'm passed out. I wake up the next day and I'm going through my phone and I find this video I don't remember. I must have been abducted or hit it with a beam that made me lose my memory, but it saved it in my phone. And now I've got the evidence that there was an alien ship. See, that's how fakes are born.
I don't think it was that.
I could make the best fakes ever.
All right, he makes the best
Ever.
fakes. Yep. Yeah, yeah, of course he does. Remember the security cam? 100% security cam. Total fake. And, of course, the ghost orb using the laser pen. 100% laser pen used. So, yeah, a bright green laser on a green sheet will show up as white. Which was demonstrated by Stephen. But yeah, was that the reason why I wanted to play that? I don't know.
With my own videos, I could. When I start showing my UFO videos, there's going to be tests. And I'm going to say, what do you think this is?
Because I've debunked all his videos as planes, balloons, butterflies was one of them. Security cam was another one, and laser pen. That's not really a UFO one, but still. And of course, his humanoid being a bunch of balloons. Clearly, a bunch of balloons. You can actually enhance his footage and actually see the circular shapes. So yeah, he talks about also seeing a grid in the sky. I know you can get grid patterns occurring and they evaporate pretty quickly, especially where he is. He's saying that we're living in a matrix, right? Grid pattern in the sky. See what comes up anyway. Images. Okay. Everyone's got some images. We know that can be done with plane contrails, as you can see there and there. Whether he saw, what was it, 4 planes form a grid in the sky, I don't know, because he ain't showing us the video. He's meant to have all this video evidence of even filming. Oh, there's a good one there. But that looks like a grid. Grid in the sky. Plane contrails. But I know it can happen with certain clouds. I've seen it in New Zealand, but I haven't seen a grid. But I've seen like parallel lines like contrails, which are not actually done by planes. Certainly seen ones like that. So let's do clouds. I think it has to be on a coastline normally, or mountain range. Something like this one here. See that one there? Kind of looks kind of gritty. That's a strange one here. Look at that one. Rare clouds in physics. Kind of looks like little waves in the sky, doesn't it? Oh, here we go. Here's one that's almost got the parallel lines happening from clouds. So, generally it happens near coastlines and mountain ranges where you get the ice crystals and the right wind currents, right? Creates interference patterns, basically, where the ice crystals start to form. More plain contrails. It looks like a grid. Yeah, I thought we might be able to see some interesting clouds, but yeah, it's not coming up. I think it can be noticed more from satellite images, actually. Let's see, grid, clouds, satellite. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, some interesting ones there. I thought more would come up. But yeah, I might have to hunt that down another day. Solar plant. Of course, people saying it's weather modification and HARP. But the HARP doesn't modify clouds, it only modifies upper ionosphere, right? Charges it up so the signals bounce off it. Radio signals, right? Suppose if we type in weird clouds, we might get something. Weird clouds. Let's see what comes up in that one. Oh, look at that one. Oh, that's a good picture. A lot of UFOs. We got the 4 streak holes. What's that one? You got the UFO cloud. Got the parallel lines. Oh, there's that one again. That's pretty cool. That one's got streaks happening. 4 streak hole going. Another strange UFO cloud, which I think was done from a volcano activity, that one. There's that strange one there with the little UFO balls or spheres. Glooped motherships. Yeah, look at that one. That looks pretty angry, doesn't it? Oh, here we go. We got some more red ones happening. But we haven't got the clouds going the other way. What's that one there? Look at this one here. Tube-shaped clouds. Haven't ever seen a tube one like that in New Zealand. But there we go. We've got these tube-like ones forming parallel lines. I suppose what could happen is if you got this cloud pattern happening and then you had a contrail fly, or a couple of planes fly by parallel to each other, it would make that into a grid for sure. I'd like to see his video on that one though. I think we could debunk it quite easily.
Then you're gonna say, then I'm gonna say wrong, and then
of course you are. Wrong. It's not a security camera when it 100% is.
Anything can look like a UFO from a distance. What's that? Oh! Is it time? It is! It is time.
Why's it glitching?
The time is now and where.
Yeah, so what was that one about? Herons, was it? Let's see. Disclosure. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to comment on that one. His stupid UFO footage. What did he say? How many hours did he have? Like 100,000 hours of footage on VHS, which ain't going to be any good. So yeah, it's probably got it on a high 8 tapes actually, probably, but that's only like double quality VHS anyway. It's got extra lines of data, but still it's going to be pretty crappy. So yeah, so this one should have been with part of this one got missed off of my science updates section. So the sun isn't a typical star. Let's just zoom into that one. Let's have a read of that one. What's it saying here? Most of us have heard that the sun is an ordinary, typical, unremarkable star, but science shows we are actually anything but average. So our solar system might be more unique than we think, huh? How does the sun actually compare to average or typical star in the universe? The answers may surprise you. So it looks like this is from a article. Since time we wondered, is the sun just a typical star? From the earliest beginnings to their final extinct before fading away, sun-like stars will grow from their present size to the size of a red giant. The Earth's orbit up to 5 light years in diameter. Eh? So that would take out the whole solar system too. The largest known planetary nebula can reach approximately double that size, up to 10 light years across. But none of this necessarily means that the sun is a typical average star. Okay, so 5 light years. I'm not sure if that's going to help us, that diagram. In the 1600s, Christian Huygens estimated the distance to the Sirius, assuming it was a distant sun-like star. Where does it go from there? As a result, 0.4 light years didn't account for intrinsic stellar differences. So what we got here? What's that say there? I have to read all that down the side, I suppose. The overwhelming majority, 80% of stars today are M-class stars. Okay, so it's a class system. So you can see that some stars can get quite big. What was that called though, the biggest one? It could fit, was it 5,000 or 5 million of our suns into it, or something ridiculous? You know how big the sun is. Well, you can imagine what the biggest one is. Actually, let's see. I'm just going to ask Edge what's the largest star, and see if it refreshes my mind. Here we go for time. Yep, still got a wee bit more time left. Okay. What is the largest star in the universe? Let's see, is it going to give us a name? I can't remember what it was called now. Ah, there we go, that is it. How do we say it though? I don't know. The largest known star in the universe is UY Scooty. Scooty is a variable hypergiant with a radius of about 1700 times larger than the radius of the Sun. It lies near the center of the Milky Way, about 9.5 light years away from Earth. Other stars that may be considered to be very large are KY Cygni, AH Scorpii, Westerlund. Where they come up with these names, I don't know. So, has he got any pictures of it? Space comets from bollocks of it. Okay, here we go. So there's our Sun. And this is the big mother Sun. Imagine how much energy you could get out of that sucker. It's crazy, isn't it? So, like I said, we'll never know what the universe is all about. It's got crazy stuff like that in it. So, if we go back to the article here, our Sun's like a pee-wee human, what do you call it, little tiny pee-wee star. So I was meant to cover that in the science one. Most stars that exist today formed a long time ago, 11 billion years in the past. Well, that even's in question now, isn't it? Now they've doubled the diameter to 27 billion. That's probably wrong. So that should be probably something like, if the other estimate was 14, so it's probably like 20 billion years, 22 billion years ago. A Sun born 4.6 billion years ago is the youngest than 85% of all stars. So we're the new guys on the block, pretty much what they're saying there. It's interesting, isn't it? How's that relate to UFOs and aliens, though? So if we're the youngest, that means those ones that are really old are more likely to have life around them. And there's some pictures of them, I guess. Image shows two bright star systems. Alpha Centauri and Beta Centauri. Centauri. I don't know how you say it. Anyway, our Sun is a G-class star, is more massive than 95% of stars. What's that mean? So they're saying that our Sun is actually bigger than a lot of 95% of all other stars in the universe. Most stars are lower than ours in metallicity, fraction of heavy elements present. So yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it? It's bigger than most stars, and it has more heavy elements. Maybe because the size of it makes the difference. I think we got a lot to figure out. Here we go. So our sun next to a low mass star, the brown dwarf, and Jupiter, and then Earth. Just shows how small our planet is. Scary, really. Any stuff coming into our solar system could wipe us out quite easily. Yeah, I'll just post a link to that one. I just want to read up on all that. I think some of it got missing because of this black and white filter. Is maybe hiding some stuff, but anyway. Our sun is unique. So that could be another reason why aliens are coming here. Earth is unique and the sun is unique. Ah, we lost one person. Who's gone? Or is it because they're not moving their mouse around or something? Because we can't rely on the stats here on Google. So nuclear tunnel boring machines. This is quite interesting. Designed to mount tunnels through the Earth. Remember the journey to the center of the Earth? Was that the first article? I got Faraday cages here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to cover that one tonight. What is that? Journey to... No, what is it? Earth's Core, was that the one? Or was that another movie? Was it Jaws of Verne? What is the journey? Here we go. Also translated. Jules Verne. Yeah, there we go. Classic sci-fi. Was that the one that used the boring machine though? I can't remember now. And then they step out, then see there's like underground life under there, you know, with water and lava heat as a heat source. Want the movie, really? Oh, here we go. 2000. Oh, that's a remake, is it? Documentary. Ah, it's at the Earth's core, was it? Is that the one? Is that the one of the boring machine? Yeah, I think that might be the one. At the Earth's Core is a 1976 British-American fantasy science film produced by Britain's blah blah blah. The film was directed by blah blah blah. The book, first book of this series, Edgar Rice Burroughs at the Earth's Core, the original music score. What the hell are they talking about? Oh, right, yeah, Peter Cushing, that was who was it? You know, the guy that was the Emperor in Star Wars. Fire when ready. So the journey one, I'm not sure. I think, is that the one of the mushrooms? And then you got this one. Right, maybe I'm getting mixed up. Let's see. Can we get any more information on that one? Anyway, I think it had a nuclear boring machine anyway. I've got some clips here. Is that the one? I don't think that's the one with the mushrooms, is it? I think it might be, actually. So, oh yeah, see, there's the boring machine. Classic movie. Look at the old dolls. Yeah. High-tech TV screens, is it? So they get down there. Is that the one with the mushrooms? They eat mushrooms. They got these massive mushrooms under there. Primitive life forms. No reptilians. How bad is that? Oh yeah, there is. Have to watch that again. Have to refresh my memory on it. I can't beat some of the old classic sci-fis. There's one with mushrooms. I think that's the journey to the center of the earth. How's that work though? What's the journey to the center of the earth? What happens when you reach the earth's core? Well, I think you'd vaporize. Here we go. Journey to the earth's core. Have we got some clips of that one? No. Anyway, better keep on moving. Go and check them out anyway. So, what were they saying here? When nuclear energy was still in its infancy and before we truly understood its limitation, we explored every possible way to harness atomic fission, powering cars, giant Arctic overlanding trains, even demolishing entire mountains to build highways. Everything was on the table. Even using a reactor's heat to melt through solid stone was considered and taken seriously enough to warrant experimentation by United States government in a project nicknamed the Nuclear Subterrance. Technology behind the craft was conceived in 1959 by nuclear scientist Robert Bob Potter. What a name. Who, according to the Atomic Skies, had just seen the Dumbo nuclear rocket engine program terminated. During downtime after the project, Pete Potter reportedly read the fantasy novel At the Earth's Core, there we go, which among other things is about an iron mole. The tunnels hundreds of miles down, and that tunnels miles down, hundreds of miles down, that apparently got him thinking instead of drilling. Okay, so there you go, a picture of it. Although that's not a nuclear tipped thing. That looks like it's got some diamond cutter tip on it, or something equivalent. The thought motivated Potter to test the idea using a device with a tungsten penetrator head, a heating element, and some basalt from a nearby construction site, which is volcanic rock. Heated white hot and backed by some pressure, the device melted through the rock, pushing melted stone out of the sides. The gizmo was a success, but wasn't taken seriously by Potter's overseers at Los Alamos National Laboratory. We've heard that name before. Bob Lizzer. It's not the same Bob, is it? Bob Potter. Maybe that's his real name. Who told him to shelf the project, but that would only prove to be the beginning. Years later, while discussing the idea in a local bar after work, one of Potter's colleagues reportedly floated the idea of upgrading the device with new tech, most notably a smaller nuclear reactor. As it happened, a congressional representative was in the bar that night. And misunderstanding what he heard, reportedly offered his support for the technology in Washington. Before things got awkward, the scientists phoned Los Alamos director, who himself found the nuclear borer proposal so intriguing that he approved it for further study. The concept would be developed throughout 1970, during which it was first referred to as the nuclear subterrane, nuclear subterrane. I was misreading it there, and patented it the following year on Jan 8. The patent, which I've got some images down here, describes the machine as being built around a reactor cooled not by water like in reactors used for generating electricity, but by molten lithium salt. The salt would be sent into a heat exchanger at the subterrane's tip. Not submarine, but subterrane. Pretty clever name, actually. Bringing it to nearly 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, there we got some pictures of it. The patent. The heat would melt and crack the rock in the subterrane's path, forcing the molten waste into the fissures as the vessel progressed. What remained would cool and harden, forming a smooth, solid tunnel lining. So this comes into that Phil Snyder idea where they're boring underground. But we know Phil Snyder is a liar, and that story was all made up. But you can see he probably would have read about this thing here, the nuclear powered drilling thing, because it's been around since the 70s. There were more benefits too. The subterrane would be cheaper to operate than conventional drills. It wouldn't disturb the surrounding environment. Of course, the drills wouldn't get blunt either. It could tunnel through sand. Well, I would have thought so. Would that mean it would have glass tubes? That'd be pretty cool. Glass smooth edges. And it had theoretical operation depth as deep as 15 kilometers. So there you go. This is where all the conspiracies are coming from tunneling underground. It actually became more efficient the deeper it got, due to rising temperatures in the Earth's crust. It was thought applications could include everything from building underground infrastructure to prospecting for resources, even digging geothermal wells. So it just makes you wonder if the government underground bases were actually using this technology, and may still do today, right? But why isn't it not being used for tunneling projects? We'll find out soon. The concept was effectively proven by a series of small-scale conventional powered prototypes trialled both in the lab and in the field. The National Park Service got its hands on an example which which is reportedly deemed efficient and easy to use. So it did actually work. Los Alamos further expanded on the subterranean concept in 1974 by filling patents for new variants, including some incorporating conventional drilling heads. Okay, why would you do that though? Okay. But that would mark the peak of interest in the nuclear submarine, the development of which was transferred in 1975 to the Department of Energy, and then shipped off to military to make their underground bases. And so in 1976, submarine development ended for good. There simply weren't enough advantages to justify using one over conventional drilling methods, which continued to develop and have since surpassed even the wildest dreams of the submarines developers. I haven't got a drink here either. So the Guinness World Record holding fastest tunnel boring machines. I know Elon Musk has been into this too, hasn't he? Can cut through over 7 meters an hour, while Los Alamos 25 megawatt nuclear submarine concept was only estimated to progress at 1.5 meters an hour. Still though, it would make less sound. It'd have endless energy for the nuclear side of things, right? And you can see why the government would use that, even if it was at 1/7 the speed, right? So maybe commercial scrapped it because it wasn't cost effective, but the government may have just been drilling the hole slowly at 1.5 meters an hour, and maybe do 12-hour shifts. That's 12 meters in half a day. Why not? There's no rush to build it, is it? In the end, the nuclear submarine proved to be yet another atomic pipe dream. So yeah, that come across that. I thought that's really good because everybody keeps talking about underground tunnels. But that was published last year, December 2022. And I thought, well, there's some information that backs it up that nuclear drilling actually works, and they were actually using it. Tunnel machine is real. So we're proving that is actually a valid thing. Here we go for time, because I've got to go to the toilet. 3 hours, it's almost time to wrap up again. What did you get? So this is what they're doing now. This new tech cuts through rock without grinding into it. So they progressed on from the nuclear one, which has obviously got some problems with radioactivity and all that, to this one here. A startup called Petra uses super hot gas to penetrate bedrock. The method could make it cheaper to move utilities underground and make electric lines safer. So this is another article I found. In the 1970s, US government's researchers imagined digging through rock with nuclear power, which we just read about. They thought the machinery could change the world. Yep. Just think if they could build tunnels between countries anywhere, and you wouldn't need planes then. You could just go in a super fast electrographic train. That'd be like something you see on the Thunderbirds. So what's this one here? Influence in national security and potentially allowing people to control earthquakes and volcanoes. What's that one? Missed a bit here. Could change the world and the Earth's upper mantle like a submarine moves through water. Okay. Keep on going. A 3-year-old startup inspired by Vision says it's developing tech to cut through rock without grinding. The company first tested cutting through rock with a plasma torch in a industrial park in Oakland, California in 2018. I suppose that's not part of Elon's lot. A larger plasma torch later could cut through slabs of stone at temperatures above 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is more than the nuclear one, at almost 3,000. Petra laser abandoned plasma for a mix of gas and heat above 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit that breaks rock into small pieces. So instead of mounting it, I guess, they found small pieces it was easy to work with. Attached to small rods touch the rock, but the excavation is carried out by the heat and gas. Using this tech, which was created in part by one of Telstra's... right, there you go. I mean, not Telstra, Tesla's. That's Elon Musk, co-founders. Pera wants to make tunneling through bedrock cheap enough to encourage utilities to bury electrical and other lines. Well, so there you go. So that was part of Elon. So that sounds even better than nuclear, isn't it? Plasma tunneling. These guys have gone quiet. But it's almost time to wrap up. I was going to cover this Dunnan guy. Because Nick West was promoting him. But I think I might wrap up and tap that onto another show next time for you guys. And we'll go through the Dunnan stuff again, recap it. But yeah, he pretty much stole millions of dollars, according to this here, $35 million. He runs the Skip Toy thing, so we'll just go through that article next time. And I think it's a link underneath that or something. Hopefully, I haven't lost it there. But yeah, I'm just going to wrap up now. Dash off to the toilet and walk the dog. And wind down for the night, I guess. And I'll see you again next live show. But this might do finally a sky watching one, as long as the cameras don't go wrong. And the weather stays pretty good. So I'm just going to end up there now, guys, and thanks for joining us and chatting on the side. Why is that not going? Something going on here. Okay. Oh, there you go, finally. That was so good night. Oh, and I'll do the chapters tomorrow probably. See you next show. Take care on the roads. And in credits. Yeah, we've certainly got through those tabs tonight anyway. There'll be a lot more to be added, I guess. There's always stuff to do in ufology. Let's hope we don't get any copyright claims though. If you're new to the channel, do hit a like and maybe a comment under the video once we finish, and share it. Help us out. You can sub in though. You may not want to keep coming back and watching the long shows, it's up to you. But the chapters do help, and if I do 1 or 2 shows a week, you got plenty of time in the week to watch each chapter or a couple of chapters. Hopefully you enjoyed what we did today. I'm sure more people will watch it once I add the chapters. Oh, I better hit the end button.